everyone, welcome to the Inside Out Conversations, where we explore what it really takes for a leader to develop inside out. Being coached to grow as a person and evolve as a person, and to brand themselves in a way that the right audience resonate with them. I'm your host for the day, Manju, a mindset and a peak performance coach and the founder of Flip Your Story. Today's episode is going to be one of the most important episode of the whole series. Why? Because what we're going to talk about today is something that a lot of people, almost everyone, get it wrong. Not every message is meant for everyone, and not every crowd is your audience. Yes, today we are going to get into the crux of personal branding, why branding isn't for everyone, and how can you smartly find your right audience. And today, for the branding episode, I am joined by our very own Charan, a personal branding expert and co-founder of UX Consulting Service, to explore what it truly means to find and connect with your right audience. Hi, Charan. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so Charan, this is the most important episode of all the episodes we have had so far. So I am super thrilled. Hope you are thrilled as well.
You're already adding so much pressure to me for this conversation, so I'm a little bit jittery now.
Okay, I am super excited because I think I have got this message in branding so wrong for so long. So I'm really excited to ask this question so that the audience also get a lot of clarity. Right. So we have had a lot of discussion about how clarity before visibility is very important. We spoke about vision and how can we change that vision into expression or voice. Right. So we have touched upon a lot of basic foundational principles of branding. Yet, a very, very foundational, basic element of branding, a lot of people get it wrong. Getting validated by likes, shares, impressions, followers, subscribers. But ideally, we should be chasing resonance, right? So, with that said, that's what is going to be the first section. Where I'm going to question you about how can we go from reach to resonance, right? So, first question. When I started coaching, a lot of my mentors used to tell me something. If you really want to go from this to this, a part of you must die, is what they were. And I was very shocked. Oh my goodness, a part of me have to die, right? So that's what I'm going to ask you now. So when leaders stop chasing visibility or likes, and they start seeking resonance with their right audience, what part of them has to die? What part of their identity has to die? And what does it actually take for a leader to stop performing for likes and to start aligning?
Firstly, that's a lovely question to start with. Okay, so I wouldn't say die. Probably for an internal aspect of it, that could be a more relevant term. I would say the expectations needs to be shifted, and there are certain things that needs to be focused on. For
Mhm.
example, generally social media or any platform, it could be Instagram, it could be the age old Facebook, or even about LinkedIn for that matter. People are always, even YouTube for that matter, people are always used to driven by the metrics there. How many views has it got? How many likes has it got? How many comments has it got? I mean, those are all some measure that the video is appealing to a certain set of audience. We can use that as a measure, but then that as the metric to determine what you're doing is right or wrong, or whether it is resonating or not, is definitely not the right approach. So if at all we need to put across or stop looking at something, we need to stop looking at only those matrices and start focusing towards the quality aspect of whatever we are creating and sharing.
Brilliant. Um, Very practical, straightforward to the point, and very grassroots level of thinking. But yet, when people like you who are focusing on creating a better ecosystem so that everybody has the knowledge, they keep repeating this point in so many beautiful ways. Yet, there are a lot of leaders who cannot leave this tendency to be want to be liked, right? And accepted by everyone. And they sometimes do it at the cost of even diluting their message. So, as a branding expert who has worked with so many people, what's your take on that? Why is that they are so focused on being liked, and then they compromise on the message?
Because that is the angle that is visible to the eye for people who are not involved in the process.
Right.
Not doing personal branding for yourself, when you look at others out in the world in social media, The only thing that you quickly notice are those metrics. So
Right.
that's like the low hanging fruit, if I may use that terminology. That's what people cling on to. But there are
Right.
more other nuances that they need to know. This is only when people start realizing that these are not really the things, then that's when. This is where people get it wrong.
Right. So, as you said, when they're not really involved in the process, and sometimes people approach it with a tendency of hit and miss, right? Let me just try putting a video. Let me just try putting a blog. So, if it works or not, it's the visible metrics which is there. All right. And I'm sure out of your experience, there would be many leaders who would realize that their message isn't working for a lot of people. And a lot of people would come to you when the realization stuck. And some people might have that realization when they are with you. What do you think from your perspective actually triggers that realization? Hey, this message to this audience isn't working.
See, I think we touched upon a little bit on this aspect. People, when you asked a question in one of the earlier episodes, you asked me, if I remember correctly, uh, do people come to you with a confusion, and do you give them advice? Okay, I've
Right,
told
right,
you that even though they might be confused, they portray that they are not. So they think they have the clarity. So when they are
right.
very much sold out on the idea that what they are doing is the right approach, so they may not be able to differentiate between whether they are working in a mode of confusion or whether they are working in a mode of real clarity, right? So even I used the term perceived clarity before, if I could remember. So that's
Yes.
that's the challenge there. So the realization happens when they start doubting after their content is not being resonated with the kind of people they wanted to resonate with. Then they start doubting themselves, the methods, the process. There again, I would tell you, only a few people would want to change the thing in a right way. A lot of people would feel that, hey, it is not working, let me go take a shortcut route in some way or the other, where I will go at buying some followers, or go buying some agentic bots, which will increase your engagement, which will show the number of likes as higher, which will show a number of comments as higher, which will show the number of followers as higher. These are all vanity. You will still be stuck with the same problem when you are from 50 followers to 50,000 followers, when you are with 5 likes to 500 likes, when you are with 5 comments to 500 comments. The same problem you will be stuck with if you are not understanding where the problem is.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. See, when I was planning today's episode, the bunch of questions that I wanted to ask, I realized people, when they go wrong in getting carried away by this visible metrics, the low hanging fruits, as you call it, I realized that there is a lot of emotions at play. Right, there's a quick validation because say somebody is working with a professional like you, then the ball game is different. They have somebody to reflect their confusions with, so that you can put certain things in perspective for them. But somebody who's just starting out on their own, the emotions are at play. So that's what is going to take me to the next segment: emotions, the emotions in branding. Okay. I have this question that I've been wanting to ask you for quite some time, and I don't know why I have not asked you in all these episodes so far. Why do you think so many leaders associate being liked as valuable? That's one. And is branding about self expression or self acceptance?
It is definitely about self expression. Self acceptance, you don't need to brand. You just need to look at a mirror and talk, and probably the work is there in your domain. So, not for
So
me.
then the next few questions is going to have like an overlap of my domain and your domain, because I somehow feel emotions are definitely at play, because the low hanging fruits gives a quick high and then we start chasing that. Somewhere the emotions are at play. That's why I want to dissect that in this segment.
See, the emotions that we talk about with respect to a content getting a lot of traction, or it going viral in the terms, that's a dopamine hit that gives you a rush. Okay, but then
Right.
um, the one thing that I ask, just keep aside individuals for that matter. For the sake of reference, let me take a brand that is trying, a company that is trying to build its brand. Okay, so what I would ask them is, irrespective of what are all the strategies that we are doing, what is the bottom line that you're wanting to achieve? You want to grow your business, right? That's the only metric that you want to look at, and we are using all sort of these tools to make sure that that is happening more appropriately and more effectively, right? So if the needle is moving in the direction for a business towards getting a better conversation with their prospects, or having a better conversation with their clientele, and their brand is getting understood by the parties whom they are interacting with, that's the measure, and it gets converted into a business, that's the measure. Likewise for individuals as well. So if, for example, if an individual wants to land an opportunity by building their personal brand, then the amount of conversations that happen where somebody solicits you through the platform and asks you for certain specific information about your experience and about your expertise, and they're wanting to put you through for an interview process, then those are all the metrics that would really make sense to you for the fact that you're building your profile for landing a new job. Otherwise, it is simply going to tell 100 people telling, hey, I resonate with you, but there is not even one person who's going to come back to you and tell you, hey, I have a job for what you are strong at, and I would want to talk to you further. There's no point there, right?
Right. Right. So it is not the vanity metrics or the low hanging metrics or the visible to the eye metrics. It is the real metrics of what we want. Right. Now, the next question I wanted to ask is, have you ever seen a leader break down, not because of the failure in branding, but probably they realize that they have invested too much time and they attracted the wrong audience? I wanted you to speak about this, that a lot of people have like multi-directional approach, and then sometimes they end up going in the wrong direction for a long time and then they realize. So what's your inputs or thoughts for them?
See, again, the point is how do they realize that it is the wrong direction is an aspect of wanting to achieve something and something else is happening. Okay. For example, freelancer could be, I have worked with freelancers who are very senior people who want to build their personal brand for landing new opportunities. I think that's a good example for me to take to make this point. Okay. So
Right.
if you are a freelancer, your objective is to land new clients, right? But then you have a specific experience, you have a specific probably target audience, it could be region or it could be the type of organizations, and you also want to operate on a specific budget. In a sense, there's a if a freelancer is into graphic design, there's somebody who does graphic design for 500 rupees, there is somebody who does graphic designs for 5000 rupees, there's somebody who does graphic design for 20000 rupees. So where do you fit yourself into this bucket is also an important aspect. So now when you go about trying to build your personal brand, having known all these things about your expectations, and if the conversations or the interactions or the engagements that come to you does not fit into your criteria, so you want to land US clients and the people who come at you are only Indians, and you want to work at a price point of 5000 rupees, not 20000, not 500, you want to work at a price point of 5000 rupees for your services, because you feel that's where is your sweet spot for the quality that you're offering, your own estimation. But then the people who come to you are only ready to pay only 500 rupees. Then you are building your brand, you are putting out a lot of things, but then it is resonating with the people who are not really your connection.
Audience.
So the
Right.
audience, so that is something which you need to go back and look at. So some of the people, they have this ready and they measure it and they say it is not fitting to the right audience and I need help. Some of the people don't have this ready, they are all over the place, they go here there everywhere, and they end up in a burnout and thinking like they start cursing the people that they are connecting with. Nobody that I connect with is helping me out for what I'm looking out for, so they blame the platform, they blame the people, but largely the blame is whom did we resonate with is actually could be the larger problem there.
Oh, that's brilliant. I think the example of the price point and stuff, it made it very clear. Now, the next question is going to be an extension of the previous question. So when that moment of, kind of grief hits, that, what, I was putting in so much of effort to reach out to the audience who would pay me at this price point, and this is the kind of quality of work, and I can give this kind of an output. And when this realization hits that, what, I've been resonating with the wrong audience, how do you help them? How, see, it's going to be like the basics of branding yet again, but then they have already built the brand for them, there is already like a clientele who is resonating with them already. How do you transition it?
See, always the conversation when it comes to, at least my approach, okay, when it comes to starting to work with somebody, I would want to understand the depth of it in entirety of what has happened so far.
Right.
What have you done, and what do you feel has worked, and what do you feel has not worked? So these are all basically them just pouring out. That's the first part of it. And the second thing is, based on their sharing of this aspect, I will try to understand who their target audience is based on this sharing, and I will ask, is this your target audience? If they are telling this is their target audience, then the target audience is right. Their resonance and articulation is something that we need to work on. But after the sharing, if they say a particular target audience but they have been targeting a different target audience, then I need to ask them to think about who their target audience is, because this is something which me or anybody else who probably want to help that professional cannot solve. If you're going to tell me everybody is my target audience, then nobody is your target audience.
Okay, the specificity is very important. As you say, when we have understood that we have not got it right all the way, then you go back to the, the drawing board and redesign the whole way we are approaching branding altogether, right? So again, we work around the clarity. Wonderful. And again, in your experience, what do your clients say is difficult? Is it losing out on the followers or losing out on the benefits?
In the sense, when you're asking what is difficult, meaning in what way you're asking?
See, when you're rebranding now, they have been reaching out to, unconsciously, their brand was reaching out to people who they did not want to resonate with, right? Now they are approaching rebranding, they're rebranding themselves in a different way, right? In this process, obviously they are going to stop resonating with the people who are already resonating. In that case, what do your clients feel is difficult? Is it letting go of the followers, or is it losing themselves in the process? Because sometimes people find it difficult to strike a middle ground there.
See, there are 2 points that I would want to state here. One is, this is not actually a rebrand per se. So far, what you have done is what you intended as branding.
Hmm.
Now, what you're going to do is what is branding. You're not rebranding.
Okay.
You're not going to call Nike as Adidas tomorrow. No, you're not going to change it completely. You're just going to call Nike as Nike, but in a more very clear manner, depending on who your target audience is. So basically, intended. Earlier, I talked about perceived target audience versus actual target audience. The same applies to intended branding versus the actual branding. So until then, they would have done what they intended to be the right one, but then they realized it is not. Then they have the conversation of what needs to be the right one. So this is one part of it. And the second part of it is, see, when they start recalibrating it, they don't really care about the audience they don't connect with anymore, because they did not get any benefit that they are wanting. So
Right.
in fact, they are more than happy that those people don't resonate with them anymore, and that's what they want to do. They want to resonate more with the people that they want to resonate with. So that's important, and there is nothing losing or nothing on the negative side for them. It is all going to be better only.
Okay, I think that was a very interesting approach. Most often, I've heard when I speak with some business owners, hey, I've been doing this for like so long now, I'm changing, all the efforts has gone waste. So, your take is nothing goes waste. Whatever you have done, it has been working out, but then now you're going to probably narrow down a little bit, right? So, that again takes
See,
me to
if I could
the.
if I could extend that point a little bit, as a part of your own perceived branding, probably one of the things people tend to get correctly on their own, even without anybody's support, is connecting with the right set of people. So
Mhm.
you go look at a profile that you want to connect with, for example, on LinkedIn. So you connect and you establish the connection. So that you have nailed it on your own. So that is your intended target audience. Let's take, for example, you're building your personal brand for landing a new job. Okay, so you know better than a consultant like me on which kind of companies resonate for your skill, and which kind of people associated with those companies are the right target audience. So connecting with them is something which you can make it right on your own even before you crack your personal branding itself. What happens after that on your own effort is you're not able to resonate with them. They're not able to look up to you for any quality reference. So that aspect needs to be tweaked, and that's where the conversation and the work that goes on with a consultant like me, and probably then it starts resonating. That's all.
Right, that's brilliant. Again, end of the day, whatever you have done, it kind of builds on for you to refine your brand. You know that's brilliant. So whatever you guys have been doing, it has not gone waste. That's something that I want to establish to the audience. So again, my transition into the next segment where I speak about the courage to narrow down, right? A lot many times when people clearly understand that, hey, you know what, I intended to start exploring this platform because I wanted certain kind of results and I wanted to create something for myself, and when that is not happening and they have been consistently doing, at some point they say, hey, you know what's not working now, I want to change. But again, this comes after this period, and I always feel personally from my side, that to narrow down you need to have the courage, because you're starting to say no to a lot of people otherwise, right? You're saying that, you know what, I'm not for everyone, I'm going to cater to a certain kind of an audience, right? And that needs courage is what I feel. What is your take on that?
So this is more on the courage from the front of a consultant.
For the person who is getting their branding done from you, your client.
No, absolutely, because the more it is like this, there is a statement that you say, right? The harder the fall, the better the lesson, right? So
Yes.
the the dramatically harder you fail in your efforts in building your personal brand, the reality starts hitting you. So you are more open to even criticism. Okay. So a lot
Mm,
of times when people approach somebody to build their personal brand, what is it that they are looking for from these people is validation from the third party telling that what you're doing is right. But the
yes.
reality is not that. And if they are hit a lot more harder based on the failures of their own effort in building their personal brand, they probably are more receptive to understanding what went wrong when somebody is critical about their past approaches.
Right.
That
It
builds
also
the
reminds me about the conversation we had in one of the previous episodes where you said it is important for you to be opinionated. You cannot take stance of everybody. Then in that case, what happens is you don't have an opinion in itself. Then nobody resonates with you.
absolutely.
Okay. Now, when your client starts narrowing down, which means that they are very particular about the results that they want, which means that they are again saying no to a lot of people. And then there is a fear of rejection, right? uh, Say the wrong people are constantly approaching them and they are still focused on the right branding. Sometimes people tend to invalidate how they are approaching. So how do you handle it? Because this is a transition period, because the past clients or past people who are resonating with them are still coming to them and they are actually going in a different direction. So there's a transition period where there is definitely is a fear of rejection in your clients. So how do you help them maneuver through it?
See, there are actually two parts here. One is the business part of it, and the other one is the brand part of it. Okay. See,
Mm-hmm,
a lot of
mm-hmm.
times when the business part of it itself is not very structured appropriately, then obviously the brand part that is going to build around it will also fail. Right. Even with a good consultant, the good consultant will lead you to the right audience reaching you. Okay. But then when the right audience reaches you and when they ask the right questions to you, if you are unable to take the conversation forward, it is still going to be failing.
Right.
So there are two parts here. One is the branding part and the other one is the business part. Are you sound on your business part even before you brand or even through the process of your branding? That is very important. See, just because I think that I'm going back to the same example of graphic designer, just because I think that I am a freelancer who caters to the 5,000 rupees budget, it does not make the person who is approaching me immediately going to sign up the contract and give me the project. I need to show them from a business standpoint of why I'm worth what I'm worth. So the personal branding will get the right audience to notice you and have a conversation with you. But if your business acumen or your portfolio doesn't back you up on that, then it is still going to be failure. So that's like you're doing an amazing work on the packaging, but then there's nothing inside on the product, right? Then it's going to cause a
Right.
big problem.
Right. That was beautifully explained, business and branding perspective, and we'll have to go hand in hand. Wonderful. Now, can you give me a story or an example of your client, where they transformed after they let go of the wrong audience? Because I wanted to tell the audience who would watch or hear our episode that it works very paradoxically, right? You shrink your audience, yet the impact actually maximizes, keeping
See,
up with the spirit of what is today's episode.
I'll give you two angles to it. I've been working
Mm,
with people who are in coaching space. Probably it might be helpful to you as well. So here the problem is not just about the right audience, but also about what are we telling to the audience.
right.
So in some of the cases, uh, having the conversation with them and them narrowing down on the right audience has actually helped. In some of the cases, what has happened is they nailed their audience correctly. This is the person that I want to approach me for coaching assignment. But then the kind of content and the kind of things that we are creating, it is not relevant for them. Are you speaking in terms of the problem that they are facing? No. You are speaking in terms of the capability that you are having. Nobody cares
Right.
about your certification. I can go back to coaching, I can go back to an MBBS doctor, I can go back to a surgeon. Nobody comes to you because you're a gold medalist. They
Right. That's
come to
true.
you because they believe that you could solve the problem for them. They are talking in the language where you already understand their problem. So that is very important. So when you start tweaking your narrative, when you start tweaking your message so that it resonates with the problem that is being faced by the target audience that you intend to serve, then they start reaching out to you.
That's brilliant. Sometimes when I draft the questions, I always feel, does this question have a shade of the question that I asked you before? But every time you give me a very different perspective and example, that brings me a lot of clarity, and I'm sure it's bringing a lot of clarity to the audience as well. Okay, now I'm moving into the next segment of questions where I want to ask you about the right audience. How do people reach out to the right audience? Now that we know that we are not going to reach out to everybody and we're going to be very specific to reaching out to the right audience. Now, um, you said nailing the right kind of a target person. That's one example that you gave. When they know that I am capable of solving the problem, they don't really care about my certification in any field, be it coaching or medicine or whatever. Now, there are two aspects, and now I want to know from your perspective what's the difference between the two. One, somebody reaching out to you because they know that they need us. Okay, and the second one is through my content or through my branding, they are able to feel, I'm able to resonate. What is the difference between the two, and what matters the most?
Actually, the second one, the resonance is always the one that matters the most, because when people resonate with you, this is the same. This is the same aspect that I also have for my own business itself. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the more the people resonate with the kind of topics and the kind of problems your target audience is facing that you are showcasing in whatever size and shape that you want to showcase, the people who reach out to you, they won't reach out to you asking, tell me about yourself, what is your background, how long you have been doing this. Those are not the first set of questions that they will ask you.
Right.
They will require your service. They think you are a potential person to provide them the service. The first few questions itself, what they will ask is, I saw you talked about this. I saw that you're telling you have solved this problem. Can you tell me how you can solve this problem for this situation which I have in my life experience? So the conversation is starting from, it's like starting the vehicle in third gear. So you're starting
Right.
in third gear, so there's a head start, you're already running. The only aspect now for the prospective person who's having that conversation with you is to validate that. So this person, I think this person resonates with me, so let me ask the question to him and validate this person whether he really resonates with my problem. So that one or two questions for validation is all it takes for them to build that trust immediately. Then after that, it is more like good housekeeping, where they will ask like how long you have been doing. Those are all like later part of question just to understand. Those are not the defining factors. They've already made 80 to 90% of their decision on whether they want to go ahead with you or not. The last
Right.
10% is more like doing the mandatory things that are there. Do you have a brand? Are you an independent consultant? Do you have GST, or whatever the things that are required?
Right. That is beautifully said. The moment we resonate, whenever they come, they bang on start with the conversation. Am I capable and how am I capable to solve it? And from there on, the conversation rolls. And that way, the purpose of the person also gets met very quickly. The person who's offering the service and the person who's coming to take the service, right? Wonderfully said. Okay. Now, most of the people, they chase the audience who are applauding them, right? Now, how do you help leaders to recognize the difference between applause and alignment? Because say if I'm aligned with your message, again I'm applauding you in one way or the other, right? Where I'm reaching out to you and saying, hey, I'm resonating with you. Now, how do you make that that subtle difference between who's applauding you and who is in alignment or getting resonated with you?
See, there is no subtle difference. There's a huge sea of difference. The person who
Okay.
applaud, probably, especially in social media, okay, it will be like your, let's say if you're writing a content piece, like a long, opinionated content piece, okay,
Mm-hmm.
anybody who is worth their pace at which they read, it is probably going to take 60 seconds to read, okay,
Mm-hmm.
but then they are applauding in 20 seconds. So it means that they have not even read it. Probably they are applauding for whatever thing that resonated with them, which is not in entirety. These people who are applauding, who don't even consume, are not the right set of people who will be uh, the target audience for you. A lot of times, when you look at it, the people who are the right target audience, who are resonating with your content, they are not the ones who are in the social media giving the likes, shares, and comments. They are the one who will reach out to you in private and ask you pointed questions.
Oh, that's exactly what
That's
was our
the stark,
intention of branding as well.
no, that's the stark difference. People who applaud, they don't sign up. People who want to sign up, they don't put it out in the open. They reach out to you in private.
Wonderful. Wonderful. What are the signs that you're reaching out to the wrong audience and then they also seem engaged? So, how do you help the clients deal with this scenario?
See, if it is reaching out to the wrong audience, then you already know that the based on the engagement, whatever the response that is coming to you, it is not really what you're looking for, right? There's another problem, probably not exactly the question that you asked, but a question where you're reaching the right audience, but then the engagement is not turning out to the extent what you're expecting.
Mm.
That could be a case wherein, for example, you are a very senior professional and you're wanting to build your personal brand, and through your personal brand you want to mentor a lot of people. Let's say that's your expectation, or that's your goal, okay. So obviously, when you want to mentor, and when you are a senior professional in a leadership position, when you want to mentor, then the kind of target audience for you is for people who are of less experience in your own domain, and you want to share your experience, your thought leadership, and so on and so forth, the tools or whatever that is relevant for the domain, right? So your heart might be in the right place, but if your content is just talking about gyan and it does not tell people that you are open to mentoring people, people may just applaud and they don't reach out to you.
Interesting.
So that's an example which I thought could be relevant. There has been situations where people have done that. So they want people to reach out to them so that they can mentor them and make them better people. But if you are not putting out your message in a way that you're open to mentoring, so it will be looked upon just like thought leadership. This person is sharing, okay, yeah, I like it, I reshare, I cut paste, I comment, whatever. People will stop at that and they won't take the next step of reaching out to you, because your topic is right, your audience is right, but your messaging is not convincing enough for them to know that you're open to mentoring.
Right. Now, I just see it from my perspective of how am I branding. It's very important for us to send out the clear message. Sometimes when you answer, I constantly correlate with how I approach certain things, and I see the subtle differences and nuances where I feel I can change. And today's episode, I did take a lot of inputs for me. Now, to wrap it up, I'm going to ask you, put out a statement and I want you to finish it. It's like rapid fire, okay? And just be ready. So you have to finish it. You can say it in one statement, one word, or one sentence. It's up to you. You will know you have find the right audience when.
When you feel happy for just one person resonating with you, that means the world to you, even if there is no likes or shares on that post.
Wonderful. Simple and straightforward. We don't need an army of people liking us, but we need one person that resonates with us.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. As always. Thank you so much, Charan, for enlightening me and the people who are listening and watching. If anybody wants to reach out to Charan, please do reach out to him through his LinkedIn. The QR code for his LinkedIn is right here. Charan is an amazing conversationalist. He will ensure that he enlightens you in whatever ways he can when it comes to branding or other aspects of business as well. Okay, now with that said, thank you so much, Charan, for ensuring that you speak more about resonance, how we can transition from resonance, um, to from reach to resonance, and then from emotions that is involved in branding, and then how it is courage is needed to ensure that they narrow down and make sure that they reach out to the right audience. Quite a bit of takeaways. I think I'm still marinating my mind with whatever I am doing slightly wrong, and then how I can course correct. So I'm going to definitely take in a lot. Now you tell me what's next. What do we have for the next episode?
Well, glad that you brought that point where we do these role reversals. So the last time when I was talking to you, we were discussing in depth in how do we handle the inner critic within us. So that was something which was quite common for a lot of people. You don't have to be in a leadership position to see how do you handle your inner critic or the inner voice. I wanted to go about moving in a different direction, okay, and touching upon the aspect of success and what does success brings along with it in terms of the pressures and in terms of the expectations that comes along with it, and how does it impact people in leadership positions. So I would want to have a conversation with you on that, because a lot of times people only talk about situations where failure is largely the cause and they want to solve it, but there are a lot of more problems that circle around situations where success is also in the picture, and I want to open up on that front.
Wonderful. I think that's going to be a brilliant episode, something which is a need of the hour as well. I'm looking forward for the conversation as always. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to forward to influence and impact people, two aspects is very very important for your growth. One is personal branding, another one is coaching. And me and Charan are going to together see how we can peel different layers of this week on week. So we will be here every Sunday, 11 a.m. LinkedIn Live. So please do watch out for this episode and do let us know if you like this episode. So thank you so much. We will see you next Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Thank you so much.